Admiral Eliza Morgan stood alone on the observation deck of the Imperial Command Station. The vast darkness of space stretched before her, broken only by distant stars and the occasional patrol ship. Her reflection stared back at her from the thick glass. A woman with gray-streaked hair pulled into a tight bun, the lines around her eyes deeper than they had been even a year ago. 25 years of service to the Galactic Empire had aged her, but her sharp blue eyes missed nothing. She had been about to end her shift when the alert came in. The door slid open behind her with a soft hiss. Lieutenant Kevin Wright entered, his usually calm face now tight with worry. He carried a data pad in his hands, his knuckles white from gripping it too hard. "You've reviewed the sensor data?" Eliza asked without turning around. "Yes, Admiral. 3 times. It doesn't make sense." Kevin moved to stand beside her, offering the data pad. The object appeared at the edge of the Orion sector at 2217. It moved across 6 sectors in under 17 minutes, then vanished near Arcturus. Eliza took the pad and studied the replay. A small blip of light appeared at the edge of the screen, moving in a straight line at speeds that should not be possible. The tracking system struggled to keep up, the blip jumping ahead in small jerks, as the computers recalculated its position again and again. "No transponder signal?" she asked. "None." "Energy signature?" "Unlike anything in our database," Kevin said. "It doesn't match any known propulsion system." Eliza's fingers tightened on the pad. The Galactic Empire had ruled for 3,000 years. They had mapped every star, cataloged every inhabited planet, and documented every sentient species. Their technology was unmatched. Their knowledge was complete, or so they had believed. "What did the scientists say?" she asked. Kevin shifted uncomfortably. "They're arguing among themselves. Some think it's a sensor malfunction. Others suggest it might be a natural phenomenon we haven't seen before. And what do you think, Lieutenant?" Kevin hesitated, then said, "I think it's a ship, ma'am. A ship using technology we don't understand." Eliza nodded slowly. Her gut told her the same thing. After a moment of silence, she made her decision. "Send a Level 1 alert to all patrol ships in the neighboring sectors. I want everything we have on unusual phenomena in that region for the past 100 years. And get me a secure line to Admiral John Pierce." Kevin saluted and hurried out. Eliza turned back to the stars, her mind racing. In all her years of service, nothing had truly surprised her. Until now. Far away in a hidden shipyard orbiting Jupiter's moon Europa, Captain Alan Howard felt the gentle shudder as the experimental ship Defiance docked. The mission had been a complete success. Humanity's first test of the quantum fold drive had worked exactly as designed. Alan unbuckled his safety harness and pushed away from the control chair, floating in the zero gravity of the command deck. Around him, the small crew of 8 were, grinning at each other, exchanging silent high fives and thumbs-up gestures. They had made history today, even if most of humanity would never know about it. "Engine shutdown complete," said Dr. Olivia Bennett from the engineering station. Her dark curly hair floated around her face as she turned to face Alan. "All systems nominal. We didn't even use 30% of maximum power." "Did they see us?" asked Security Officer Greg Miller, a stocky man with a closely shaved head. Alan nodded. "They definitely saw us. Their sensor network picked us up exactly where we wanted them to." He pushed himself toward the central display, bringing up a map of their flight path. "We cut straight across their most heavily guarded sectors and disappeared before they could do anything about it." "Think they're freaking out?" asked Communications Specialist Maria Lewis with a smile. "Absolutely," Alan replied. "The Galactic Empire believes they know everything worth knowing. Their entire identity is built on being the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. We just proved them wrong." Dr. Bennett floated to his side. "Command will want our full report. As soon as possible, this changes the timeline." Alan nodded. For decades, humanity had hidden in plain sight. When Imperial scout ships first discovered Earth 300 years ago, they had classified humans as a pre-spaceflight civilization of little interest. Earth had been marked for routine observation, and then largely forgotten. It had been the greatest stroke of luck in human history. While Imperial observers watched for radio signals and primitive satellites, humanity had developed along a completely different technological path. Earth's greatest minds had secretly studied the Imperial ships, learning from their technology while developing theories and approaches the Empire had never considered. The quantum fold drive was the result, an engine that didn't push a ship through space but instead folded space itself, allowing instant travel between 2 points. It was technology the Empire had deemed impossible. Docking complete, announced the ship's computer. Airlock sealed and pressurizing. Well done, everyone, Alan said to his crew. Remember, this mission is still classified. No discussing what happened today with anyone outside of command. As the crew prepared to disembark, Alan checked his personal communication device. There was already a message waiting for him from General Nicole Reeves, Earth Defense Force Commander. Phase 1 complete. Phase 2 begins tomorrow. Meeting at 0800 Central Command. Well done, Captain. Alan smiled. Phase 1 had been simple. Let the Empire know they weren't alone. Phase 2 would be more complicated. Prepare humanity for what came next. Back on the Imperial Command Station, Admiral Morgan stood before a wall of screens showing the concerned faces of the Empire's highest military leaders. At the center was Admiral John Pierce, a stern-faced man whose legendary tactical mind had crushed 3 separate rebellions. The object moved at approximately 27 times the speed of our fastest vessels, Eliza explained, displaying the sensor data. It appeared with no warning and disappeared the same way. Could it be a natural phenomenon? Asked one of the admirals. The path was too direct, too purposeful, Eliza replied. It moved like a ship on a mission. Admiral Pierce's expression darkened. If this is a new species with this level of technology, why haven't we encountered them before? Perhaps they've been hiding, suggested another admiral, watching us, learning about us. The thought sent an uncomfortable chill through the room. The Empire wasn't used to being the observed rather than the observer. I've ordered a full review of all sensor data from the past century, Eliza said. If this ship or others like it have visited our territory before, we'll find evidence. Admiral, Pierce nodded. In the meantime, I want fleet readiness increased to level 2 across all sectors. No one goes anywhere alone. All patrols double their sensor sweeps. As the meeting concluded, Eliza remained in the command center, staring at the replay of the mysterious ship's journey. Something told her this was just the beginning. The Galactic Empire had ruled unchallenged for thousands of years. But perhaps that was about to change. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Imperial Fleet was the most impressive room in the entire Empire. Circular walls rose hundreds of feet high, lined with screens showing distant stars and planets. In the center, a large round table glowed softly, displaying maps and data as needed. Around this table sat the 12 most powerful beings in the known galaxy. Emperor Zalthor sat in the largest chair. Though he appeared humanoid, his skin had a slight purple tint, and his eyes were completely black. He had ruled the Empire for over 200 years, longer than most species lived. Today his face showed worry. Play it again, he ordered. Admiral John Pierce nodded to a technician. The holographic display in the center of the table changed, showing the path of the unknown ship. The small dot of light moved impossibly fast across the map, covering vast distances before disappearing. That's 17 minutes of real time, Admiral Pierce said. The object crossed half the Empire in 17 minutes. Impossible, muttered Grand General Krill, a reptilian being with scales that changed color with his mood. Currently, they were an anxious yellow. And yet we all see it, Emperor Zalthor replied. He turned to a thin, tall figure at the table. Grand Scientist Vexillar explained this. Vexillar had 6 fingers on each hand and skin so pale it was almost transparent. He touched the controls, enlarging the sensor readings. The energy signature doesn't match anything in our records, he said. But there is something familiar about the quantum distortion it left behind. Explain, ordered the Emperor. About 500 years ago, our scientists explored the theory of quantum displacement, Vexillar said carefully. The idea was that, instead of traveling through space, a ship might fold space itself, creating a shortcut between 2 points. I remember, the Emperor said, The research was abandoned. Yes. Vexlar nodded. Our scientists concluded it was too dangerous. The energy required would be enormous and the calculations too complex. One small error could destroy the ship and damage space itself. Admiral Morgan leaned forward. Are you suggesting someone has mastered this technology? Technology we abandoned? The evidence suggests it, Vexlar replied. These readings show space-time distortions consistent with our old theories. A heavy silence fell over the room. For thousands of years, the Empire had led all technological advancement. The idea that someone else had surpassed them was almost unthinkable. Where did it come from? Emperor Zalthor finally asked. And where did it go? Unknown, Admiral Pierce admitted. But I've ordered ships to investigate both areas. If there's anything to find, we'll find it. As the meeting continued, Lieutenant Sam Collins sat alone in his small office in the Imperial Intelligence Headquarters. Unlike the Grand Council members, Sam didn't have centuries of experience. At 32, he was young for his position. But he had something the others lacked, a fresh perspective and a talent for seeing patterns. Sam's fingers moved quickly over his control panel. On his screen, hundreds of reports flowed past, routine surveillance data from all corners of the Empire. Most officers found this work boring. Sam found it fascinating. For the past week, ever since the unknown ship appeared, Sam had been searching the archives for similar incidents. Today, he had finally found something interesting. Computer, he said, show me all surveillance reports for System Sol 3 for the past 3 centuries. The computer displayed a star system with 9 planets. The third planet from the sun was blue and green, covered mostly by water. Earth. The Empire had discovered Earth 300 years ago. They had classified the humans as primitive, a pre-spaceflight civilization still burning fossil fuels and fighting among themselves. Not worth contacting, not a threat. But something about the reports bothered Sam. Every 10 years, the Empire sent probes to check on developing worlds. The reports on Earth were always the same. Slow progress, primitive technology, no signs of advanced physics or energy manipulation. Too consistent, too perfect. Sam pulled up the raw data from the most recent probe. Energy readings, atmospheric composition, satellite activity. Then he compared it with readings from nearby space. There was a subtle difference, a faint energy pattern surrounding the entire solar system that didn't match anything natural. Computer, analyze this energy pattern and compare to all known technologies. After a few seconds, the computer responded, no match found in Imperial database. Sam sat back, his heart beating faster. What if Earth wasn't as primitive as they thought? What if humans had been hiding their true progress all this time? He needed more evidence before taking this to his superiors. They wouldn't believe him, without proof. He saved his findings to a secure file and made plans to access deeper archives tomorrow. On Earth, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Nicole Reeves studied the massive wall screen showing the positions of Imperial ships. Red dots showed Imperial patrol vessels. Blue dots showed Earth's hidden observation satellites. A large cluster of red dots had appeared near the spot where the Defiance had first activated its quantum fold drive. They're searching the area, she noted. They won't find anything, Captain Alan Howard replied, standing beside her. The QFD doesn't leave conventional traces. Just quantum echoes that fade within hours. Nicole nodded, but still looked worried. We've moved up the timeline. The test was successful, but now they know something's out there. How long until the next ship is ready? Dr. Bennett says the Challenger will be ready for testing in 2 weeks, Alan said. The improvements based on our test data should make it even faster and more efficient. 2 weeks, Nicole repeated. And how long until they connect the dots and look more closely at Earth? Frank Taylor, the intelligence officer, stepped forward with a data pad. Our spy programs in their network show increased activity in the surveillance division. Someone is accessing old reports about Earth. Nicole and Alan exchanged glances. This was earlier than expected. Who? Nicole asked. Lieutenant Sam Collins, Imperial Intelligence, Frank replied. Young, but has a reputation for solving difficult puzzles. He's comparing energy readings from our system with the quantum signatures from the Defiance. Will he find the connection? Alan asked. Frank shrugged. Hard to say. Our camouflage network has fooled their probes for centuries, but he's looking in the right places. Nicole walked to another screen showing the timeline for Earth's defense plan. We need to accelerate production of the fleet. If they discover us before we're ready. She didn't need to finish. Everyone in the room knew what the Empire did. To civilizations it considered threats. In 3,000 years of expansion, the Empire had encountered 67 advanced civilizations. 42 had been conquered. 25 had been completely destroyed. Humanity had spent centuries preparing to avoid both fates. Their plan didn't involve fighting the Empire directly. That would be suicide. Instead, they would demonstrate such technological superiority that the Empire would have no choice but to negotiate. The Defiance was just the first step. A warning shot across the bow. Tell Dr. Bennett to work around the clock, Nicole ordered. I want the Challenger ready in 1 week, not 2. And alert all our agents embedded in Imperial territories. If the Empire starts mobilizing toward Earth, I want to know immediately. As the others left to carry out her orders, Nicole remained staring at the map. Humanity had hidden for centuries, developing in secret while the Empire looked the other way. That time of hiding was coming to an end. She only hoped they were ready for what came next. Frank Taylor moved quietly through the underground complex beneath Lake Superior. The massive facility stretched for miles under the water, hidden from Imperial scanners by a combination of natural rock formations and advanced cloaking technology. 300 years of preparation had gone into this place and dozens of others like it around the world. Frank carried his datapad into the main control room where General Nicole Reeves was waiting. Large screens covered the walls, showing different parts of the galaxy. One screen was dedicated to tracking Imperial fleet movements. Many red dots were now clustered around the areas where the Defiance had appeared and disappeared. They've tripled their patrols along the quantum corridor, Frank reported. And their science ships are running continuous scans using modified sensors. They're trying to detect quantum displacement signatures. Nicole nodded, her face serious. Will they succeed? Eventually, maybe, Frank said. But Dr. Bennett is already working on countermeasures. The next generation of the quantum fold drive will leave even fewer traces. He handed her the datapad showing the latest intelligence from their network of hidden observers. There's more, he added. Their Imperial Intelligence Department has created a special task force dedicated to finding the source of the unknown ship. Lieutenant Sam Collins is leading it. Nicole's eyes narrowed. The same analyst who was investigating Earth? Yes. He's been given more resources and access to classified archives. He's good, General. Very good. How long until he traces it back to us? Frank took a deep breath. At the rate he's connecting the dots, 4 months at most. Nicole turned to look at the largest screen, which showed a map of Earth and the surrounding space. Scattered around the solar system were blue dots representing Earth's defense stations. For centuries, humanity had been building a network of hidden bases throughout their system. Some were weapons platforms, but most were dedicated to maintaining the illusion of a primitive civilization. And the Challenger? She asked. Final testing begins tomorrow. Dr. Bennett says the new improvements have increased efficiency by 30%. Nicole nodded. Good. We need to move forward with Phase 2 immediately. We can't wait 4 months. She pressed a button on her command console. This is General Reeves. I'm calling an emergency meeting of the Earth Defense Council. 1 hour. In his expanded office at Imperial Intelligence Headquarters, Sam Collins stood before a wall covered with holographic images and data. His superiors had been skeptical, at first, but his initial findings had been compelling enough to earn him this special assignment and a team of analysts. What exactly are we looking at? Asked his assistant, Dana Rivera, studying the complex patterns on the main screen. Energy signatures, Sam explained. The blue pattern is the quantum wake left by the unknown ship. The red pattern is a very faint energy field surrounding System Sol 3. Earth, Dana said. The primitive world. Supposedly primitive, Sam corrected. These patterns share key characteristics at the quantum level, too similar to be coincidence. But our probes have been monitoring Earth for centuries, Dana argued. They're still using rocket technology and have barely established a presence on their own moon. Sam nodded. That's what the reports say, but look at this. He pulled up another screen showing the raw data from the last 5 probe missions to Earth. The readings are too consistent. Year after year, the technology progresses at exactly the rate our predictive models expect. No surprises, no unexpected leaps. Isn't that normal? No, Sam said firmly. Real technological development is messy. There are breakthroughs, setbacks, unexpected directions. This is too perfect. He touched another control, showing a different set of readings. And then there's this. Every probe we send experiences a slight power fluctuation exactly 20 million kilometers from Earth. Always the same distance, always the same pattern. Dana's eyes widened as she understood. A scanning field. They're detecting our probes before the probes detect them. Exactly, Sam said. I think Earth has been hiding its true technological level from us, and I think the unknown ship came from there. He stood back, looking at the full wall of evidence. I need to bring this to the Emperor directly. This goes beyond a simple security concern. The Earth Defense Council chamber was filled to capacity. 50 leaders from around the world sat at the circular table, with hundreds more joining virtually. General Nicole Reeves stood at the center, beside Captain Alan Howard and Dr. Olivia Bennett. The timeline has changed, Nicole began. Imperial intelligence is closing in faster than we anticipated. We need to accelerate Phase 2. The Challenger is ready, Dr. Bennett said. We've implemented all the improvements from the Defiance test data. The quantum signature masking is now nearly perfect. Alan stepped forward. Our plan was to conduct 5 more test flights over 6 months, gradually revealing our presence while keeping our origin hidden. We don't have that luxury anymore. He touched a control and the large display showed a new flight plan. Instead, we're going to conduct simultaneous operations. 5 ships, 5 different locations across the Empire, all appearing and disappearing within minutes of each other. Murmurs spread through the room. The plan was bold, perhaps too bold. What about risk of capture? Asked one of the council members. Minimal, Alan assured them. The quantum fold drive allows us to jump out at the first sign of danger. By the time their ships respond, we'll be gone. And the purpose? Asked another. Nicole answered this one. To create confusion, to make them think they're dealing with a much larger force than just Earth, and to gather final intelligence on their key military installations before we reveal ourselves. Dr. Bennett added, We've also equipped each ship with special packages. She showed a small device on the screen. Once deployed near their major communication relays, these will give us access to their entire Imperial network. We'll be able to monitor everything they say, everything they plan. The council debated for another hour, raising concerns and suggesting modifications. Finally, Nicole called for a vote. The result was clear. 47 in favor, 3 opposed. Then it's decided, she said. Operation Phantom begins in 72 hours. As the meeting broke up, Alan caught up with Nicole in the hallway. This is happening faster than we planned, he said quietly. Nicole nodded. History rarely follows our schedules, but we've been preparing for this moment for 300 years. The Galactic Empire thinks they know everything worth knowing about the universe. They're about to learn how wrong they are. Alan smiled slightly. Humanity's greatest strength. What's that? Nicole asked. Being underestimated, he replied. In orbit around Neptune, hidden from Imperial sensors by the planet's magnetic field, 5 ships waited. The Defiance, now joined by the Challenger, the Intrepid, the Valiant, and the Pioneer. Each represented the pinnacle of human engineering. Each carried a crew of Earth's finest. In 72 hours, they would change the galaxy forever. Emperor Zalthor rarely showed fear. After 3 centuries of ruling the largest empire in known history, he had faced rebellions, assassination attempts, and even an invasion from another galaxy. but the report in his hands made his purple skin pale. 5 ships? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. All at once? Admiral Pierce nodded grimly. Yes, Your Eminence. 5 unknown vessels appeared simultaneously in 5 different sectors. Each one appeared for exactly 7 minutes, scanned our installations, then vanished the same way as the first one. The Emperor's private chamber was silent except for the soft hum of the air systems. Only his most trusted advisors were present. Admiral Pierce, Grand Scientist Vexler, and the newly promoted Intelligence Director Sam Collins. Show me, the Emperor commanded. Sam stepped forward and activated the holographic display. The galaxy map appeared with 5 red dots blinking in different locations. Here, Your Eminence, Sam explained. The first vessel appeared near the Arcturus Fleet Base, our largest military installation. The second materialized inside the Vega defense perimeter, supposedly our most secure area. The third appeared near the Rigel Communications Hub, the fourth near the Imperial Academy at Sirius, and the fifth— He paused, clearly troubled. The fifth? The Emperor prompted. The fifth appeared just outside this very room, Your Eminence. It scanned the Imperial Palace itself, then disappeared. The Emperor's black eyes widened. No one had ever breached the palace defenses. It was supposed to be impossible. These were not random appearances, Admiral Pierce added. They targeted our 5 most important facilities. This was coordinated intelligence gathering. The Emperor turned to Grand Scientist Vexlar. How is this possible? How can they appear inside our defense grids? Vexlar's thin fingers manipulated the controls, bringing up complex equations and energy patterns. The quantum displacement theory I mentioned, he explained. If mastered, it would allow a ship to simply skip the space between 2 points. No amount of conventional defenses could stop it because it never actually passes through the intervening space. And you believe these ships are using this technology? The Emperor asked. The evidence is conclusive, Vexlar replied. We've detected quantum distortions at each appearance point. The same technology we abandoned as too dangerous, they have perfected. The Emperor turned to Sam Collins. And you believe you know who they are? Sam nodded and changed the display to show the Sol system, with Earth highlighted. System Sol 3, Your Eminence, Earth. The evidence points to humans being far more advanced than we believed. He explained his findings. The 2-perfect development curve, the scanning field detecting Imperial probes, and most convincingly, the quantum signature similarities between the mystery ships and the faint energy field surrounding Earth. They've been hiding from us, Sam concluded, deliberately maintaining the appearance of a primitive civilization while developing technology that surpasses our own. The Emperor's expression darkened. For how long? Based on the sophistication of their deception? Possibly since we first discovered them 300 years ago. 300 years, the Emperor repeated. 3 centuries of watching us, learning about us while we ignored them. Admiral Pierce stepped forward. Your Eminence, I recommend immediate military action. We must assemble the fleet and— And what? Interrupted Vexlar. Attack ships we cannot catch? A planet that can detect our approach from millions of kilometers away? With technology that can bypass our strongest defenses? The Emperor raised his hand for silence. What do they want? If they have this technology, why reveal themselves now? Why not continue hiding? Sam looked troubled. That is the question we cannot answer, Your Eminence, but we must assume they have a plan. These appearances are too deliberate to be random. Before anyone could respond, every screen in the room suddenly flickered. The Imperial symbol disappeared, replaced by a simple image of Earth. A calm voice spoke in perfect Imperial Common. People of the Galactic Empire, we are humanity. We have watched you for centuries. It's time we talked. In Earth's command center, Nicole Reeves watched the 5 mission commanders report in one by one. Each ship had returned safely, having completed their objectives without detection or pursuit. All neural link packages successfully deployed, reported Captain Lily Chen of the Valiant. We now have access to 70% of the Imperial communications network. Excellent, Nicole replied. And the message? delivered simultaneously to every communication device in the Empire, confirmed Communications Director Eric Patel. From personal screens to public displays, every Imperial citizen is seeing our greeting. Nicole allowed herself a small smile. Phase 2 of Operation Phantom was complete. The Empire now knew they existed, but still didn't fully understand what they were facing. "Dr. Bennett, status of the fleet?" she asked. Olivia Bennett looked up from her station. "The first 20 ships are ready. Another 30 will be complete within 2 weeks. And the special modifications for the flagship? The Defiance has been upgraded as requested," Olivia confirmed. "The diplomatic package is installed and ready. Captain Howard can depart whenever you give the order." Nicole nodded and turned to Alan, who stood quietly at her side. "Well, Captain, are you ready to make history?" Alan's face was serious but determined. "The crew's prepared. We've trained for this mission for years." "Not just the mission," Nicole reminded him. "You'll be the first human to officially meet with the Emperor of the Galactic Empire. The first to speak for Earth." "I understand the responsibility," Alan said simply. Nicole addressed the entire command center. "Phase 2 is complete. We now begin Phase 3, First Contact." She turned back to the main screen where the transmitted message was still playing. Across the Empire. "The Emperor has 2 choices, talk to us or try to destroy us. Either way, humanity is done hiding." In his private quarters, Emperor Zalthor paced back and forth. The message from Earth had been playing for an hour across every Imperial system. His advisors were in chaos, military leaders demanding immediate action, diplomats urging caution. The door slid open and Sam Collins entered, bowing deeply. "Your Eminence, we've received another transmission. For you alone." The Emperor gestured to the screen. The same Earth symbol appeared, followed by a simple message. "Emperor Zalthor. Tomorrow at the Imperial Palace. 1 ship. 5 representatives. From Earth. A chance to avoid unnecessary conflict. Your answer is expected within the hour." The Emperor stared at the message. In 3,000 years, no one had ever dictated terms to the Galactic Empire. The proper response would be to mobilize the fleet, to show the humans the true might of Imperial power, and yet, these humans had technology that made the fleet irrelevant. They could appear anywhere, anytime. "How do you fight an enemy you cannot catch, Your Eminence?" Sam prompted gently. "What shall I tell them?" Emperor Zalthor made his decision. "Tell them. We will receive their representatives." And the military response? "On full alert, but no aggressive moves, not yet." The Emperor's black eyes narrowed. "I want to meet these humans face to face. I want to understand what they really want." As Sam left to send the reply, the Emperor turned to look out at the stars. For the first time in his long life, he felt something unfamiliar, uncertainty about the future of his empire. The Defiance appeared in normal space just 1,000 kilometers from the Imperial Palace. Unlike its previous missions, this time it made no attempt to hide. The sleek ship gleamed in the light of the nearest sun, its design unlike any Imperial vessel. It was smaller than the massive Imperial warships but radiated power and advanced technology. On the bridge, Captain Alan Howard stood calm and focused. Beside him were the 4 other members of Earth's delegation. Dr. Olivia Bennett, the engineering genius behind the quantum fold drive, Ambassador William Carter, Earth's most skilled diplomat, Security Chief Lisa Rodriguez, former Special Forces commander, and Dr. Eric Mason, Earth's leading expert on alien cultures. "Imperial Palace is hailing us," reported the communications officer. Alan nodded. On screen, the face of an Imperial officer appeared. "Earth vessel, you are cleared to approach docking. Bay 7. Follow the transmitted path exactly. Any deviation will be considered hostile." "Understood," Alan replied simply. "We will comply." As the transmission ended, Lisa leaned closer to Alan. "They've surrounded the palace with warships. I count at least 30 capital ships and hundreds of fighters, all with weapons powered." Alan smiled slightly. Exactly as we expected. They're showing strength because they feel weak. It changes nothing. He turned to the rest of the delegation. Remember, we're not here to threaten or intimidate. We're here to establish Earth as an equal power and to secure our right to exist without Imperial interference. Ambassador Carter nodded. The data package is ready, including the non-aggression treaty and technology exchange proposals. And if they refuse? Asked Lisa. They won't, Alan said with quiet confidence. They may posture and demand, but in the end, they'll accept. They have no choice. The Defiance moved smoothly toward the palace, following the designated path. Imperial ships tracked its every move, weapons locked but not firing. On every Imperial vessel, crews watched with a mixture of fear and fascination. The mysterious ship that had eluded them for months was now in plain sight. Inside the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zalthor prepared to meet the humans. He had chosen to receive them in the Grand Council chamber rather than the throne room. This would be a meeting between powers, not a subject coming before their ruler. The human vessel has docked, Your Eminence, reported an aide. Their delegation is being escorted here now. The Emperor nodded and looked around the chamber. Admiral Pierce stood to his right, face grim, hand resting on his weapon. Grand Scientist Vexlar stood to his left, eyes bright with scientific curiosity. Intelligence Director Sam Collins stood nearby, watching everything with analytical precision. Remember, the Emperor said quietly to his advisors, we must learn what they want, what their true intentions are. Show strength, but not aggression. The massive doors to the chamber slid open. 5 humans entered, walking with confidence, but not arrogance. The Emperor was struck by how ordinary they appeared. Bipedal, similar height to many Imperial species. Nothing to suggest the technological marvels they had created. Welcome to the Imperial Palace, the Emperor said, his voice echoing in the large room. I am Emperor Zalthor, ruler of the Galactic Empire for 3 centuries. The man at the center of the human group stepped forward. Thank you for receiving us, Emperor Zalthor. I am Captain Alan Howard of the Earthship Defiance. These are my colleagues, Dr. Bennett, Ambassador Carter, Chief Rodriguez, and Dr. Mason. The Emperor studied them carefully. You have gone to great lengths to get our attention, Captain Howard. 3 months ago, your ship first appeared in our territory. Then 5 ships conducting what appears to be military reconnaissance. Now, you stand before us. Tell me, what does Earth want from the Galactic Empire? Alan met the Emperor's gaze without hesitation. Recognition and respect, Emperor. For 300 years, your empire has classified Earth as a primitive world, unworthy of contact or consideration. During that time, we've observed your civilization and developed our own path. He gestured to Dr. Bennett, who stepped forward and placed a small device on the floor. It projected a holographic image of the galaxy, highlighting Earth's position and then showing the paths of the human ships through Imperial space. We don't seek conflict, Alan continued. Earth has no interest in conquering Imperial worlds or challenging Imperial authority over your existing territories. We simply wish to establish Earth and the Sol System as a sovereign, independent power, recognized as an equal by the Galactic Empire. Admiral Pierce scoffed. Equal? Your world is a single planet. The Empire spans thousands of worlds, billions of citizens. Numbers aren't everything, Admiral, Dr. Bennett replied calmly. The quantum fold drive is just one of many technologies we've developed along different paths than the Empire. We have others. Ambassador Carter stepped forward, offering a data crystal to the Emperor. This contains our proposal for peaceful relations between Earth and the Galactic Empire. Non-aggression treaties, trade agreements, and scientific exchange protocols, beneficial to both our civilizations. The Emperor took the crystal but didn't look at it yet. And if we decline these generous offers? If we consider Earth a threat that must be eliminated? A tense silence filled the chamber. Admiral Pierce's hand tightened on his weapon. Chief Rodriguez shifted slightly, ready for anything. Alan's expression remained calm. That would be unfortunate, Emperor Zalthor. We've mapped every Imperial military installation. We've analyzed your defense systems. We know the locations of all your fleets, and as you've seen, we can appear anywhere in your empire without warning." He paused, letting the implications sink in. "But more importantly, war would be unnecessary. Earth doesn't want your territory or resources. We simply want to exist freely, to develop our own destiny without imperial interference." Grand Scientist Vexlar spoke for the first time. "Your technology, it contradicts established physical laws. Our scientists determined quantum displacement was impossible." Dr. Bennett smiled. "Not impossible, just approached from the wrong direction. We'd be happy to share the basic principles with Imperial scientists as part of our exchange program." The Emperor studied the humans closely. He had ruled for centuries by recognizing threats and opportunities. These humans represented both. Their technology was clearly superior in key areas. Fighting them would be difficult, perhaps impossible, but making them allies could strengthen the Empire in ways he had not imagined. "Your proposal will be considered," he said finally. "In the meantime, you will be our honored guests." Alan nodded. "Thank you, Emperor. We look forward to a new era of cooperation between our civilizations." As the formal meeting concluded and the groups began to mingle more casually, Sam Collins approached Alan. "You hid in plain sight for centuries," he said with grudging admiration. "How did you manage to fool our probes for so long?" Alan smiled. "Humanity's greatest skill has always been adaptation. When you first found us, we realized we weren't ready to join the galactic community, so we adapted. We created the illusion you expected to see while developing on our own terms." "And now?" Sam asked. "Now the galaxy has two great powers," Alan replied. "The Empire that expanded outward across thousands of worlds, and Earth, which looked inward and developed technologies the Empire never imagined." In the center of the chamber, Emperor Zalthor watched the humans with new eyes. For 3,000 years, the Empire had dominated the galaxy, believing itself the pinnacle of civilization. Now, in a matter of months, everything had changed. The future would never be the same again.